We've got a lot going on. Weddings, Airbnbs on site, full kitchen, hosted by Royal Delights just down the road. Come and see us, live music on the weekends. Fun time down there. I will be your curator for the tasting today, so please allow thyself to introduce thyself. My name is Kylo Hogue, and the answer to the question I can see clearly burning in your loins is no, that I'm not one of the goddamn Hemsworth brothers. Oh, it's just, I get it, I can see the looks on your faces, maybe it's what you were thinking, the gears were turning. Anyway, where was I? No, you know what, since you brought it up, I'd also like to make perfectly clear that I am not just some Thor wannabe. See, I can make the mistake, right? Under the table, Viking descent, above average sex appeal. But I assure you, it cannot be further from the truth, because I'm actually more of an Aquaman wannabe. Wow. Jason Momoa. Right. Just wanted to make that clear. Okay, from the top. I come from a long line of Nordic conquerors. I spent the better part of my youth in a fog of brutality, fueled by copious amounts of mead, wine, opium. Pillaging hundreds of villages on the vast coastlines of the North Sea, I thought this was the life I was destined to live. But in our travels, ever so often we would come across glorious vineyards, and a sense of peace would wash over me as I gazed at the voluptuous, sun-kissed fruit clusters hanging in such abundance. You see, the only thing I had ever done in my life was cause pain, suffering, and death. But these vineyards to me symbolized life. So between all the mindless raiding and ransacking, I began educating myself in the process of growing grapes and making wine. See, a farmer grows the grapes, and when they become ripe, he picks them and sells them to a vintner. It's a noble commerce, not like raiding and ransacking. And here, he crushes the grapes and allows the feral yeast to do their work. They begin to metabolize the sugars in the juice, converting the juice to wine, right? This is a natural fermentation called, natural metamorphosis called, I just said it.
Fermentation.
You know the answer. No, they don't get a bonus point. She's heard it a million times.
It's not my fault I worked there.
Fermentation. From here, he strains the wine from the skins and seeds, putting it into clay jars or barrels where it will rest for several months, sometimes years, allowing gravity to slowly settle all the solids to the bottom of the vessel. Now, over time, that wine becomes clean. Once it is, it can be siphoned out and is ready to be shared amongst your clan. Now, listen closely. It has been proven through some new alchemy the warlocks call carbon dating, that humans have been cultivating grapes with the intention of using them to make wine for at least 10,000 years. Long time. To give that perspective, the Son of God himself was born just 1,500 years ago. Well, that's right, it's supposed to be like the 1500s. That means that humans were making wine 8,000 years before anyone had ever even heard of Christianity. So, wine making and the debauchery that inevitably ensues while under its influence. Winemaking predates the sons of gods by quite a lot, and it's a trade that still thrives today. And this is what truly captivated me about the art of making wine. Well, alas, the chapter of this story that places me before you today, I remember it so vividly. I was bathing in the hot springs of the wintertime. The snow was just beginning to melt. A light mist seemed to hang in the air as if it was frozen in time. And suddenly they were there. Two ravens, black as night, appeared before me. And suddenly the ominous duo began to speak. And I nearly lost my shit. Could these ravens really be those for which legend told? The ravens of the great All-Father Odin himself? Hugin and Munin. I thought that someone may have slipped me the berserker tea. But the wise birds confirmed this truth and revealed they were there to deliver a message.
finest wine from the 9 realms of which he reigns. He has chosen you to represent Midgard, to craft a series of wines worthy of his palate and worthy of the fallen warriors who feast with him in Valhalla. Should you accept this honor, you will craft these wines and assemble a collective of human wine enthusiasts to select a champion. Once a decision is made, you will summon the Raven God and present to him the finest wine from Midgard.
It's pretty badass, right? Ever seen anything like that? Cool. So obviously I accepted this honor, right? Who doesn't accept a quest bestowed upon them by their deity? But how does one begin when their goal is to craft the greatest wine known to man? Close. She said it. Grapes. Huzzah! Get her a bonus pull. You were close, sir. The key to making premium wine begins in the vineyard. It begins with the grapes. So I set out to find the greatest vineyards in all the land, which brought me here, to this magnificent patch of soil the natives called Texas. Now, after much blood, sweat, and fornicating I have done it to the raven's ass, I have completed my task of creating wines worthy of the gods, worthy of the almighty raven god. And I've gathered you here today to be a part of this historical wine tasting. So, are you up to the task?
Yes.
Are you up to the task?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay,
Or
now.
I could continue babbling about myself. You want to hear more about me? Okay. Let's get on to the wines, but first we must conjure our special guest curator. Archmage, are you prepared to open the portal to the Bifrost?
I am, sir. The magic's feeling strong. I think it's going to go just fine.
All right, well, put your hands together. He's been called many names over our history. The master of debauchery. Master of mayhem, daddy of debauchery. Please welcome Loki Odinson.
People of Midgard, this journey starts with a wine I am quite fond of, the hakk. This wine is a homage to the Raven God, made from the Riesling grape, indigenous to your Germanic Rhineland. Sweetened with honey and styled after the rich Nord meads that kept battle-worn warriors alive when food was scarce. But beware, this wine will awaken something dormant inside of you. Eloquent description on the back says it all.
Thank you, Archmage.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
And yes, you read that correctly. Drink, fuck, fight. That's what it says on the back. This is because after drinking a bottle or several, there's a high probability you will engage in at least one of those other two. Anything like me, perhaps a bit of both. Don't say I didn't warn you. Now, when tasting wine, there is no wrong way, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. That being said, I like to start with a gentle swirl. This helps pull oxygen into the wine, awakening it, lifting out the full bouquet of aromatics. Definitely some honey on this wine, honeysuckle, nice floral notes. It's caramelized citrus, green apple strudel, mild notes of anise. Anise, spice. Not anus, whoever's sniffling over here. I assure you, I would not bottle the wine if it smelled of ass. What are your thoughts on the hakk, sir? Nice. And how about you guys? Yeah, all right.
I bought this bottle last year when I was here, and it's been sitting on the roof stuff all through.
Oh, fantastic. Excellent. Glad to hear that. Now, keep in mind that wine tasting is a subjective experience, meaning what you smell and what you taste is your own interpretation of reality. It doesn't have to match myself, of the person next to you, right? It's perfectly acceptable for you to smell honey, my lady, while you, sir, might be transported to the taint of a tasty temptress.
He agrees. Took a second for that.
Your interpretation, your experience of the wine is your truth. So, would you say this wine is a worthy candidate to present to Odin?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, huzzah! And let's move on to the next wine in our lineup, the delicious and delectable Munich.
The first of two wines inspired by my father's black-feathered friends who put us on this path and co-branded with the powers responsible for orchestrating this glorious gathering of humans. The Texas Renaissance Festival. The Munin, roughly translated as memory or mind, is a white wine made of a blend of two grape varieties, orange muscat and Riesling. This is about 14%, a little higher than your average white wine, but keep in mind who it was made for.
Thank you, Loki. Yes, 14% alcohol on this wine. A blend of predominantly Riesling and orange muscat. We need more there.
I can top you off, yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Honestly, I'm
Now, you may have had some wine snob friends at some point in your lives, swelling their glass and talking about the legs. Oh, look at the legs. The legs, my friend, is merely alcohol sticking to the glass. It is less dense than water. There is no correlation to the thickness or viscosity of those legs and the quality of a wine. It is merely an indication of the wine's alcohol concentration. So, when your friends pop out that expensive bottle and start talking about the legs, you can chill it down. Now, this wine has more tropical fruit notes, in my opinion. Kiwi, jackfruit, lemon zest. Also kind of reminds me of these incenses Gypsy used to burn before we would meditate. Bottoms up. Down the hatch. Nice crisp acidity. A full, complex mouthfeel. Subtle sweetness and a smooth, refreshing finish. I mean, what more could you ask for in a white wine, right? What are your thoughts, sir?
A little better than the last one.
A little more bitter, yeah. Less sweetness on it. Drier. Yeah. What do you guys think?
agree with the dryness for sure, but it has a very, I guess, gentle finish, if that makes any sense. It's
Gentle
definitely,
Fresh.
yeah, I want to go sit in a hammock with people,
Like
you
that.
know, yeah.
Nice, relaxing patio. What'd you say?
A hammock.
Hammock. Nice. What do you guys think of the Munich over here?
No, Dave.
You like the Munich? You like the, or you like the Hugo? Or the first one? First one. Yeah, that one. Okay, so what is your verdict? Would you say this wine is also worthy to present to Odin?
I agree.
All right. Well, let's move on to its counterpart, the Hugget. Now, as you can see, the Hugget is kind of the yin to the Munich's yang, the ass to the tits, if you will.
Which is which? Oh, there you go.
Ass to the tits.
Love it.
Yeah. I'm really more of an ass man myself, but I would be a liar if I said I had never been hypnotized by a blicky pair of fun bags. Where will your preference lie?
The Hugin, roughly translated as thought, is a reserve Cabernet Sauvignon, aged in a combination of the finest medium toasted and neutral oak barrels for 24 full moons, creating a fruit-forward, medium-bodied and balanced red wine. Taste, set your senses aflame.
Thank you, Luke. Now you should get more dark fruit characteristics on this. Again, this is a medium-bodied reserve Cabernet Sauvignon. Like I said, aged in neutral oak barrels in order to preserve the fruit characteristics of this wine. At Hakk, when we make our wines, we spend a lot of time working with our growers in order to produce a premium grape. And we don't want to cover that grape flavor up with wood by over-oaking the wine. So we generally put our wines in about 20 to 30% new oak. This was aged in completely neutral oak. So you should get some chocolate-covered raspberry notes, maybe. Toasted vanilla. Mulled berries. It's a nice fruit-forward red wine. Easy to drink. Perhaps another hammock kind of wine.
Now, this is a wine I can
Perfect.
see as something that would be brought on a picnic.
Yes. Sounds good. I have found that this pairs nicely with a smoked leg of turkey as well. Bacon on a stick. That would be delicious. So how about it, sir? Eat more ass or tits? Or perhaps you prefer something in a different category, does it? Don't be ashamed.
Do you have any thighs available?
Let it be known throughout the kingdom that the table is a judgment-free zone and all walks of life are welcome. Even my grandmother had a saying, doesn't matter who you lay with, as long as you are getting laid. That's all, grandma. She was so sweet. Now, you've been passed out a brownie. Please refrain from devouring that brownie. We're going to use it on our last two wines. But first, I'd like to hear your thoughts again. Final thoughts on the Hugin. Brownie. Oh, no. There's no devil's radish in that. Devil's lettuce. Lettuce, radish. It's all. We do have some recipes, other recipes if you want to come see us. Yes. Now, final thoughts on the Hugin. Do you think this is also worthy? The winner so far. Excellent. All right, well, you are in for quite a treat on these last two wines. These are our Madeira wines. Now, I first discovered Madeira wine while brothel hopping on holiday in the coastal village of Portugal. This is also the region that port wines were born. Now, port is a style of wine, typically sweeter, and almost always fortified with a neutral spirit, meaning the alcohol content is much higher than your average table wine. These are going to clock in at about 17–18% alcohol. So, pretty stout, but put some hair on your chest. You have some? You good? John's got enough for all of us. Oh, she wants to see John. No? There we go. John loves to spoon. Now, because of its high alcohol content, port is often enjoyed in smaller portions, often after a feast. I, however, like to enjoy it by the hornful after a long day tending to the vines. Now, just off the coast of Portugal is a small island called Madeira. Now, it was here that I discovered they were doing something extraordinary with port wines. But first, some backstory.
being transported by sea, often taking months to reach their destination. In the months following the summer solstice, it was discovered these wines were changing during their long voyages. What was happening? I'll tell you. The wines were being stored in the hulls of the ship, which would reach sustained temperatures of over 100 degrees, essentially performing a long, slow cooking process. Now, the people on the island of Madeira began to mimic these long, hot voyages by building structures they called estofas, a Portuguese term meaning oven, and they were aging port barrels inside. Think of a sauna, but for wine barrels. Why would they do this? Prepare your palate for a playful fondling in taste. Why, this is the hakk wines, Blanc du Bois Madeira.
I don't know anyone that would want to turn down a plate for fondling. Now, these heated structures that Loki was speaking of, these estufas, we built one at our winery back in 2005, and that's what these wines were aged in. We hold them about 6 months at about 110, 112 degrees. Now during that time we get a large amount of evaporation out of the barrel. Put about 59 gallons in, we get about 40 or so out. So a lot of that water evaporates, and what that means is what's left in the barrel becomes highly concentrated. The sugars caramelize over that time as well, creating this flavor profile, which I'm sure is unlike anything you've ever tasted. I like to say it is as if your favorite whiskey and wine had a baby and then wrapped it in a golden fleece blanket and let it suckle gently from your teeth.
He's not wrong.
Crafted from grapes grown just a half day's ride from where you sit. Local grapes from local farmers. You may get notes of caramel, toasted brown sugar, butterscotch, toffee, rum raisin, toasted marshmallow. Or maybe that's just, am I smelling that right now? I'm smelling kettle corn. The kettle corn might actually pair well with this. Now, as you're tasting, I want you to note your flavor experience, and then think about it of your brownie. And note how the wine changes with the chocolate. It's sweeter after the chocolate. Okay. Reserve some of your brownie as well, because we're going to do the same exercise for the second Madeira. Thoughts over here? I haven't heard from you guys yet. All right. Thank you. How about you, Si?
Like drink in heaven.
Drink in heaven, yes. This is the wine that I imagine the Valkyries will pour me when I ascend to Valhalla. Go. Okay. Loki, bring us down the home stretch.
My friends, this brings us to our final wine, crafted specifically for this epic melting pot of art, food, music, entertainment, and love. The Texas Renaissance Festival. This is the Renaissance Jacques Madeira. The winemaking and aging process is very similar for both the Blanc de Bois Madeira and the Jacques Madeira, but we achieve two distinctly unique yet equally satisfying wines. The Blanc du Bois Madeira is made from white grapes, while Jacques is made from red grapes. Go ahead and taste for yourself. A noteworthy fact, Hakk Wines is the only winery in this great land who can make Madeira wine and label it so. This is because they did it before anyone else. So if you see any others out there, just know that they are copycats.
Well said, Loki. Copycats indeed. What he's referring to, Hakk Wines has been making Madeira since 2002. In 2005, a law was passed saying, unless the wine is coming from the island of Madeira, that you cannot put Madeira on the label. But since we were already doing so, we had government-approved labels, we were grandfathered in. Yes. So, Hakk Wines is the only winery in the state of Texas, and one of just 3 wineries in the entire country that can make this style of wine and label it what it is, Madeira. So I'm very proud of that fact. Now, the Renaissance Jacques Madeira is quite different than the Blanc du Bois, right? Different flavor profile. In my opinion, there's more balsamic characteristics on this wine. Some prune, coffee, cacao, leather, tobacco, maybe like wet tobacco leaf. What was that, sir?
What we were talking about the last one kind of tasted like it's killed with the cigar.
Yeah.
I'm trying this one tastes
Yes.
which is really good.
And you can do the same thing. Taste it with your brownie. See how your flavor experience changes. Would anyone like to share their experience?
I like this one better than the Blanc du Bois.
You like this better than the Blanc du Bois?
Blanc du Bois is older, and this is, I don't know, because I'm not real big on red wine anyway, so this is,
It's more your speed.
that is the red. No, I know, that's why I said I'm not real big on it, but this is, but I like it. What's it called?
I'm just a fan of dry white wine.
More dry white wine than on your speed. What do we think over here?
Your mom.
A little strong? Yeah. Yeah, pretty strong. 17, 18%. The brownie kind of helps cut some of the sweetness, and I recommend tasting it first just to kind of see how it is on its own, and then eating the brownie, and then having.
I'm a horse trainer. This will take care of a lot of my problems.
There we go. Yeah, so part of this exercise, the reason why we're doing this, is to demonstrate how when pairing wines correctly with food, that you can elevate both of them, right? So the idea is that the food and the wine should complement one another and elevate the flavors of both. The inverse is also true, right? You can pair a wine poorly. The example that I like to use is pairing a bold red wine with raw oysters. There are probably some select few that would like that, maybe, but in general, I would say it's generally recognized as a poor pairing. Alright, so this does conclude our tasting portion. However, your task is far from over. You must select a champion for us to present to Odin. So, of the wines you've tasted today, we'll start at the beginning. Would you choose the Hakk Mead? Yeah! Okay. The Muted. Okay, that's not it. The Hugin.
Well, they really like it. I don't know if that was a collective response or if they were just loud.
We'll leave it up toward the front. The Blanc du Bois Madeira.
It's just confusing now.
Okay, I think that at
They're
least
noting
beat.
everything.
I think that at least beat. I think that at least beat the Hugin.
Okay.
Okay. The Renaissance Jacques Madeira. Okay, I believe that is our winner. All right, you have selected the Renaissance Jacques Madeira to present to Odin. All right, now the time has come. Years, hours, preparation, but we must conjure the All-Father Archmage, are you prepared to do so?
I think so. However, I'm a bit worn out from all this conjuring you have me do all the time, sir. So I'm hoping that maybe you all can lend me a hand or two and beat your table. The vibrations will help bring me the energy.
Midgardian, I've been expecting you. Have you completed your quest of crafting Earth's greatest wine?
Oh, Father, yes. These people have tasted through several of my wines and they've selected a champion to present to you.
Very well. Let's have a taste then, shall we?
Yes, of course. This is our Renaissance Jacques Madeira.
We have a saying in Asgard, when something is so good that is life-changing, we say that is tea on a K, tits on a kitten.
Sorry, Odin. Titties on a kitten. I don't quite understand. Are you saying that you like it?
No, I am saying I love it.
Oh,
In
huzzah!
fact, I believe this wine to be the greatest in all 9 realms.
Oh, thank you.
Hugi, Munin, quick, deliver a message to the other realms that Midgard is home to the worthiest of wines, created by no other than hakk wines.
Oh, thank you so much, All Father. This is a great honor. Thank you.
Well done, Midgardian. You have surpassed all expectations. And to all of you, thank you for sharing your precious time with us and for choosing to be a part of Hakk Wines' historical tasting here at Odin's table. Please, feel free to linger and enjoy a glass of any of the wines you just tasted. The bottles are also available for purchase, and your reward for being a part of the tasting is 30% off of all wine purchases. So enjoy the rest of your day, and don't forget to go visit Hakk Winery. And